Welcome back to another one of my show-off videos, or as a friend of mine has put it, humble brags. Both work. I don't know, you might be kind of right on that one. Anyway, let us get on with this one. So, today I will be showing off my French Napoleonic army of 25-28mm. Some of the figures are from the 25mm reign, when 28mm didn't really exist, but most of them are 28mm. As you might be able to sort of tell with this, well, you'll see once we're moving around. It's the whole thing of feet to eyes and feet to the top of the headgear. Shakos in this case, mostly. And a couple of chapkas for the lancers. So we shall start at the back, because what French army is not complete without vast numbers of French infantry. These ones here, I believe, are, I want to say, War Games Factory? War Games Factory? No. Games Factory? They're not Perry's lot. I will eventually remember the infantry. Battalions of infantry I have done up here is, well, just in general, it's a standard setup of 36 infantry figures per battalion. In this case we've got, so yeah, War Games Factory, I think. Then we have Victrix infantry with a little bit of a mishmash. Mostly Victrix, but there's a metal figure where I've had excess. These guys are my Legere regiment, 2 battalions strong, also 36, though their bases are split because it looks a little bit nicer in my opinion. These are Hat infantry of 28mm or 28mm. I've done battalions with a headquarters company, so a rifle company, headquarters company, or an infantry company I should say, and then a grenadier company of 6 figures, a light infantry company of 6 figures, and then the remaining 3 rifle companies, or line companies I should say. Yes, they have their eagles. I have put colours on them because in some cases it's the officer carrying his colours it's moulded on, and in some cases it's like this one, which is off a sheet. They both work. So these are 4 infantry battalions making a brigade of infantry, with the brigadier here, who is a Perry's figure. Their divisional commander stand, which is elite miniatures, and then I will have to. Are you sure if he's here? No, he's a Perry's figure as well. As I said, the 2 battalions of Victrix French infantry and 2 battalions of Legere Hat infantry. There is something shot, yeah. And then there is my chasseurs. These are Relive Waterloo figures. They are designed to be sort of like a small squadron, intention being that they are a reconnaissance screen for the division. So here we have the infantry and the reconnaissance component of a French infantry division. Guns, which would normally be a battery of horse artillery and a battery of, I'm going to say 6-pounders, so potentially could be 12-pounders as well as position batteries. They are somewhere else. I don't have that much artillery, because you generally need more infantry than guns in a Napoleonic game, though someone might correct me on this one. Then moving across, or moving up, there we go, is another infantry division. In this case, this is a mixture of Confederation of the Rhine, in this case represented by minifigure Bavarians with their tablecloth flag, a battalion of Victrix French painted up as Nassauer infantry, 2 battalions, which makes a regiment, of Westphalener infantry. These are Perry's infantry, so these are the £20, €20 box set of infantry. Now I could say they're French, because there is stuff that says that most of the Westphalian armies, the Kingdom Westphalia's army, was mostly made up of French troops, but hey, let's not get into that one too much, because there's probably a German who will shout at me, or some Frenchmen who will shout at me. Anyway, the officer is a Perry's figure, and we come across another Perry's figure officer, and then this is these would normally be fielded as either Hanoverians or, one second, these men in red can be fielded as either Hanoverian infantry, or I field them generally as Swiss infantry, which is what they originally meant to be. So we have their brigadier, their regimental commander, brigadier, and then the 2 battalions. As generally the Swiss will be treated as a higher quality of troop, because historically they were. Again, they follow the same format as pretty much everything else, which is 36 figures broken down into 6 companies with a grenadier and a light company. In this case, this battalion is a little bit smaller, so there are only 4 figures to a company. Just for anyone, before someone will probably ask, it's 1 figure equals 20 as I use general brigade rules. Then moving across, we have the French component to stiffen the Germanics. So more Victrix French infantry, a little bit of a mishmash of Victrix French and a couple of metal figures mixed in. And we have, again, I think these are Wargames Factory. I keep saying that, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm getting it the right company. I will double check it later. And then another battalion of, again, a little bit of a mishmash of troops. I think there's a couple of plastic figures mixed in. Mostly, this one again is a metal infantry unit of, again, Wargames Factory. There is some the infantry. Just see if I can get this here. Yeah, a couple of the light infantrymen and a couple of the infantrymen in that company over there are Hinds figures. A foot brigadier, so he's basically just he isn't on a horse. Dear God, English for some reason is only a difficult language to speak. So I made up a little command stand with brigadier and a assistant, and then the divisional command stand, which has I'm going to say Perry's general, with a Hinds artillery officer with a telescope. The horse was an extra horse I had lying around, same as the saddle blanket, so I just basically did it up, painted it up, made it like a saddle blanket and a saddle. And we shall move on to that thing that every French player always has, Le Garde. Just hang on, so you just get the guard. So I have 3 battalions of Old Guard, 2 of the Grenadiers à Pied, a mishmash of figures, mostly Victrix, painted up to look like Grenadiers, and then there's a mishmash here of Hinds, Wargames Factory and Relive Waterloo Guard, and then more Victrix infantry with a couple of random figures chucked in to make up the numbers to give me a Chasseurs à la Pied. The officer is a Grenadier officer from Hinds, and then the cavalry component, in this case the light cavalry component, is a elite miniatures general with Relive Waterloo cavalry, so the Dutch, Polish Red Lancers and the Chasseurs. He says it, and then he suddenly goes, I can't remember which ones these are, but they're the more light cavalry. It's a light cavalry. It's a light cavalry brigade. What French army wouldn't be complete without, I want to say, a decent amount of guns. I have 3 gun batteries. I do have a howitzer as well to go with this. I need to make up some more crew members. The figures for this and the guns come from a variety of places. The guns here are Relive Waterloo, while the crewmen are minifigs. These ones are elite gun crews and 12-pounders. These guns I cast myself, and the crew members are from elite. Now this gun battery, I believe this is my horse artillery battery. I purchased them from a man who, I'm not sure what happened to him. He was selling off his collection for reasons. So I have a 6-pounder gun battery and a mishmash of artillery crewmen. I believe that these are Perry's, though I could be wrong. They could be someone else. Yeah, moving on, we'll just dodge around and we'll do the cavalry component. So, Relive Waterloo officers as a divisional command stand, and then I have French Lancers, but as they also wore Polish uniforms, I just used the moulds that I had from Prince August. Yeah, Prince August moulds, horses and Lancer moulds. I will have to make up more, which when I do the Duchy of Warsaw troops, you'll see that I lack Lancers and I really should make more up. So these are done as 24 figure units, so elite squadron and then 3 Lancer squadrons. Here we have the, this is what I'll say, these are this is sort of like a good example. So these are 25mm figures. So that's what the Prince August molds generally are. And these are the 28mm figures of French Hussars, which are the Perry's box set. I had to buy 2 box sets to be precise, as you don't quite get enough. You get, like, I think you get 14 figures, so it's enough to make up a bit of a mass of cavalry. In this case, they will be getting rebased. Some of the figures will be sent off to do other things, other games and such like that, as I'm going to redo these. As originally I wanted them in squadrons of 7. I think I just ended up getting a little bit weird and did some strange basing with these, as they're in 2s and 3s. And it doesn't really make a good, it does not make a tidy column. So they will be rebased probably into 3s. So squadrons of 6, 4 squadrons, and it'll be a little bit tidy. There'll probably be a few figures left over, but hey, it's not a problem. Dragoons that I purchased, ready to, I just rebased them. So Dragoon Officer, I believe these are all, I mean, I say this, I believe these are Perry's. 2 regiments worth of Dragoons, because again, it's that classical heavy, medium cavalry. They're good. You know, the Hussars are dashing, Dragoons are mediocre, and the heavy cavalry just roll over whatever gets in their way. Next up we have a Hinds Cuirassier officer leading a regiment made up of Relive Waterloo Cuirassier and a regiment of Hinds Cuirassiers, again in 24 figures in 4 squadrons. Relive Waterloo Mounted General, Relive Waterloo, so this is again a little bit of a, probably can tell the difference here. So the front ranks are Relive Waterloo Carabiniers, the rear ranks are Hinds Carabiniers, and then these are the Perry's Carabiniers. Yes, a little bit of a mishmash. Everything in theory is 28mm, or at least 25mm. However, you end up with that little bit of a mishmash where the figures sort of, again, feet to the eyes or feet to the top of the headdress. It's where you sort of get the problem. So I have I want to say a complete cavalry division. The heavy, in theory, I have a heavy cavalry division at the back and a medium, obviously a generic cavalry division, so just a cavalry division in the centre, which would be 2 regiments in 2 brigades of, 4 regiments formed into 2 brigades of heavy cavalry, in this case 2 regiments of Cuirassier, 2 regiments of the Carabinier. Is 1 division, and then, which is what I was going to say, as an add-on to this one, I'm thinking of getting maybe perhaps some more Ligier, another regiment of Ligier, and some more Germanics, some more Confederation troops, and probably get a few more officers just to give me a little bit of ADCs and things like that to run around the battlefield. And then we have the other division, which will be the light cavalry, in this case the Lancers and Hussars, in a brigade supported by the Dragoon Brigade. Yes, I've kind of run out of generals. I have run out of mounted officers. But then I have random figures lying around that I could potentially use as infantry colonels or infantry brigadiers, and then just put them on, excuse me, and then just make up cavalry officers. But anyway, on to the great glorious command stands. So first off, we have Marshal Ney, the Perry's figure. We have some Perry's cavalry officers, generals, and I believe these 2 stands again I purchased. The Ney was from my grandfather. Ney was painted up originally by my father-in-law, who I traded my 6mm Austrians for the 28mm French, which make up the bulk of this army. The 2 other figures were painted up by the same guy I bought the guns and several of the other units off. He also painted up these 2, I would say, command diorama stands. So we have the officers and ADCs waiting to be called forward. And then the Imperial Command stand, as you have grenadier officers, and a number of ADCs and such around their table. And then, of course, we have the monster of Europe. This stand originally had, I think, a couple of figures in a different position. I repositioned it, added Napoleon into that position, a couple of Grenadier style or high ADC officer styles there, and I thought I think it looks quite good. You've got Napoleon being spoken to by one of his generals, informing of what's going on with the battle. And then of course we have Napoleon in true scale. This I acquired from a Dutch convention. Quite a nice little figure. And then just for a little bit of randomness, we have some French infantry in skirmish stands, a mixture of Perrys, Victrix. So the Victrix figures are here, the Perrys are the remainder, a couple of extras. A little bit of a mishmash of uniforms, some in greatcoats. You can see some of them in brown, some of them in blue. Yeah. This is roughly 1,100 figures in the units. As not all the French Guard infantry are done in 32 figure units. Their stands are in 8. The generic infantry follow the French pattern of 6 companies of 36 men to a battalion, with 6 figure stands. Again, we have certain units such as the Nassaus and the 2nd Swiss battalion, which are shortened down to 4 figures to a company, so about 24 figures. Easy. 24, 8, 12, yeah, 24 figures in a battalion. Let's see. So yeah, got a nice little mishmash of figures, variety of different companies that have made them up. The bulk of these figures, as I said, I swapped with my father-in-law for my 6mm Austrians. The good chunk of them I have painted. So for example, the Germanics here I painted up myself. So the Rheinbund I painted up myself. The Chasseurs over here I painted up. Though the bulk of the French I either tidied up the paint job or I basically just rebased them and left them alone as my father-in-law had painted them up. The Swiss I basically just rebased this battalion and left this battalion alone, as I potentially could make up some of the numbers in some of the units, as I have got a box of Victrix lying around. It's just figuring out what I want to do with them. But as I said, the only thing I would really add to this at the moment is potentially another regiment's worth of the Gare infantry to give me that dark blue light infantry formation. Maybe another gun battery, but at the same time, do I really need to? I don't know. Most of the battles I play are more at the brigade to divisional level, so having more than 3 or 4 gun batteries is probably going to be more aimed at big games where you're running multiple divisions. Now, granted, I can run 2 infantry divisions and 2 cavalry divisions. I have a corps, essentially. I do have a good well-rounded corps. I'm probably very light on artillery for said corps. I probably need a couple more gun batteries. How are you going? But hey, that's the way things go. And you're always looking at adding stuff. I'll say it's the curse of being a wargamer. You can always see something that you want. You think, oh, I could do with adding that. I could do with adding this. Definitely a package. I definitely want to go to Perry's at some point for a packet of mounted officers, just to give me some more generals to make up the numbers there. As I said, I do have a howitzer and a single crewman left over. And when I was laying this out, I was looking at my, excuse me, I was looking at the horse artillery gun battery, and I did think, there's like 2 gun batteries with 5 men, 2 guns with 5 men crew, 1 with 4. I might rejig the crew members a little around, particularly as, I'm sure I saw, yeah, there we go, got a gun with 2 men holding rammers. Might be worth rejigging that. I could probably make up enough crew members to make... I probably could actually make up enough crew members to make up the howitzer gun crew. We'll see. It's stuff is in the works. Things are always in the plan. You always got stuff going on, and then either real life comes along and scuppers your plan, or you decide, I can't be bothered, I'm going to do something else and try to find something more interesting to do. Just as a quick one, these are just generic Victrix French infantrymen. They're not the Guard pack. These, hang on, because yeah, these are. I'm going to say hat. No, Yeah, they're mine. I think some of these are actually guardsmen. I think they're Hinds. Sorry, yeah. This battalion, my chasseurs à pied, I believe are mostly Hinds infantry, with a few figures thrown in from the Victrix sets just to make up the numbers. I said this one is a mishmash of Hinds infantry with, I was going to say, Wargames Factory and Relive Waterloo. And then this one is pure Victrix infantry mixed up. As you can see, I've got lots of musicians. Each company has a musician in it. There's a drummer, or a couple of drummers, and lots of officers. But it's the figures I had left over. Essentially, give them. I find that the most simplest thing to do is build up the infantrymen, give them all grenadier bearskins, and then just, you're fine. Paint the right bits, the right colours, and if someone really wants to get bent out of shape over it, then they're going to get bent out of shape over it. But hey, it's what you've got. It's what you can afford. No need to get funny about it. Some of the figures I printed off at work, flags. Many of the flags I printed off at work. Don't know if that comes out with a Westphalian flag. This one is the proper Swiss one, though. Again, it's not having a laser printer means that sometimes having a laser printer, I don't know. Whichever one. Some of them are not super detailed. Well, that was a bit too much light on that one. The detailing is there. It's not great. They were bitmap images. Literally just came off warflags.com, he says, which is a really good site. They do a lot of the flags, and you can easily adapt them if you so wish. Some of the flags, such as this one, and this one on this basically this regiment, comes straight off the, I want to say, the Victrix set. And then these ones are cast flags with the Hinds officers. Hinds? Yes, Hinds officers. So it's pretty much the same pose, more or less, and just painted up. So I painted that one up because it's all cast on, so we're just trying to layer it up. And then this one was exactly the same thing. I just kind of blanked out the detailing and just went with the style of flag, because they have the national, the tricolor for the 1st battalion, and then they have this flag for the 2nd battalion. Again, I might have misread something. Someone will correct me, I'm sure, once this has gone out. 1,000+ Frenchmen and some Germans mixed in to make up the numbers. And look forward to the next video, which will be my Duchy of Warsaw troops, which is about a division strength. And the usual stereotypical units. French have to have the guard, and lots of cuirassiers and carabiniers, and so of course the Polish are going to be mostly Vistula Legion and Lancers. So until next time, have a good day.